Welcome to the Beginner's Guide to GeoGuessr! So the main thing to note is actually a lot of countries don't actually have Street View. So the Plunkett website, plunkett.net, is very useful. I've linked it in the description too. It's really the best way to go. So any country in grey has no official Google Street View coverage. So Iran, Saudi Arabia, Sudan. China has coverage, but very small amounts. There's very little coverage though in China, so you should not really guess there. I've been playing GeoGuessr for a while now. I've never seen a mainland China around, excluding like Taiwan. But you should basically never guess China unless you know it is. And some countries have very little coverage, just like China, like Mali. But remember to check this map every now and then because they often add countries quite often. So Oman, Liechtenstein, Bolivia, France, and the Philippines have recently added some coverage. Another thing to note is domain names. So on a website, you might see like tesco.co.uk or something.fr, which means France. And that would mean normally that you were in that country. So it's good to learn a lot of these. So Botswana is BW, Egypt is EG, Kenya is SZ because it used to be called Swaziland. So I don't know why, but they've not changed the name there. And there's quite a lot which you can learn. It's a very useful tip. Like it's especially useful if that you check a restaurant sign, or maybe like if you see like a lorry or van, you might often see it. As I'm scrolling through them, you can pause, but just please make a note that Germany is .de, so that's not Denmark. Because this is the beginner's guide, let's look at the game mechanics. So you've got the compass where you can see what direction you're facing in. You've got the movement arrows where you can move. You've got the zoom buttons. You can return to the start with that flag. You can set a checkpoint here. So you can return to the checkpoint if you want to go back there. And you've got the undo move, and you've got settings. And you've got some other things like here and stuff like that, yeah. And this is a more detailed coverage map. So in the blue, we've got the dense coverage where it's basically covered everywhere. So we've got a lot of Europe, we've got the North American continent, like Mexico, we've got most of the South American continent. And then we've got sparse coverage, places like Nigeria, Botswana, Ukraine, Serbia, Kazakhstan, Mongolia. So you might see these places. And only Trek or tripod coverage means it's very rare you'll get this, but not impossible. And then grey, just no coverage, so maybe screenshot that map if you need that. Now, you can also click on a country and see some tips. So, we're going to be clicking on Germany. I don't know why, it's just a random country. So Germany, it's .de, the domain. Driving side is the right-hand side there. And the camera generation is 4. So it just shows you a lot of tips. I'm just going to quickly scroll past these. So if you want to see any, just, feel free to pause the video and screenshots. There's quite a lot of really useful tips. And if you see any of these tips, it means you're probably in Germany, or you could be. But now if I scroll down to regional clues, this is where you can get a bit more advanced. So this is a very useful terrain map. So we've got the southern Germany, very hilly, this bit in the Alps even. And then we've got some mountains in the middle, and then the top bit tends to be very flat. So it's quite a useful way to guess. Here's some of the state flags. And then afterwards, there's also sometimes some landscape and vegetation clues, where it gives you a map of something and what area it's found in. So the Alps, the mountainous bit, is only in the very southern tip. But then the Baltic pines can be found in the east of Germany a lot. There's architecture clues, so there's some German architecture. Infrastructure clues, so a lot of bollards on here. And finally, some spotlight clues, where there's some absolute spotlights. So there's a Slavic language, I didn't know this one, but apparently it's spoken in the Polish and Czech border, so that means you're in a very specific area of East Germany. So keep that in mind. And there's also some useful tips I want to give you. A lot of new players, some of them just don't know Africa because a lot of people haven't been to Africa, same with South America, they're just completely stuck on it. And you'll find it really confusing, so I'm going to find some ways for you to get those countries. So to identify Nigeria, is basically, you see a police car following you, you're in Nigeria. I know, it's pretty insane. So the black one and the white one, they're normally found. There could be some others occasionally, I think. And if you look behind the Street View car, you might see them. And that means you'll probably be in Nigeria. And the nearby country, Ghana, has some black tape on the Google car. So I'm just in a random place in Ghana, and if you just look down at the Google car, you'll see some black tape on the top right bar. And where you can identify Brazil is by seeing it speaks Portuguese, unlike most of South America, which just speaks Spanish. And Portuguese is quite different. You might see a lot of AO or C's with the thingamajig on the bottom. I don't know what it's called, like a hook. And there's also very red soil in most of Brazil. Now we're going to finish off by playing a game of duels and see if any of the things I know will. So playing. And we've got someone who's better than me, which is a bit worrying. And he guesses us 80% of the time, so he insta-guesses, which is a bit annoying, but you know. Anyway. What language could that be? Now I need to identify the language. I'm thinking this might be Central Europe just from the kind of language. It could be German, it could be Polish, it could be Czechia, in my opinion. What should we guess? It looks a bit Austrian in a way, but no, Czechia, let's say. Okay, it's Hungarian. And there's some damage done to us. Oh gosh, where are we now? Yeah. Dutch. I think this might be the Netherlands. Because I saw the double A, so let's say there. Yeah, it was the Netherlands, which is interesting. Okay, so we are in. Wait a minute, is that police? Oh, I'm actually confused. Is that the Nigerian? I don't think it is. It's a Toyota like the Nigerian police car, but there's some sheep. I'm thinking it's Senegal, but I'm not that confident. It's actually kind of a hard round. One of the Nigerian police car you will see. Yeah, it's Kenya. Okay. So he did 3 damage to me. You'll normally see some headlights on the Nigerian police car. So where is this? We're sadly having some very high rounds today, and I don't know where it's going to be, honestly. I think it could be like Russia, even. It was Russia. In my opinion, Russia's the hardest country, so if you want me to make some videos exclusively on how to guess Russia and where in Russia, I'd be very happy to do that. Danger. Okay, so it's English speaking. Is that like American road signs? Okay. I think it could be America, honestly. I'll just check the hemisphere with the compass. So this is going to be Southern Hemisphere, or like Australia, New Zealand probably. Oh crap, that's New Zealand. Yeah, New Zealand. The way you can check the hemisphere is by looking at the sun. If it's in one place, then the compass will directly point to the sun sometimes. So this way, the sun's more in the south because the white bit of the compass is in the south, which means it'll probably be northern hemisphere. Sometimes it can be wrong because of the panning of the camera. This is just going to be generic Europe, isn't it? Like, I'm just going to click like on the beginning of a yellow number plate. That was just a bad guess from me, and it was in Ukraine. I guess there's no EU blue. You can find blue on EU license plates mostly. A blue strip on the left-hand side, and they're going to be probably in Southeast Asia, like Thailand or something. Maybe like Indonesia. I'm going to guess Sumatra. If he's closer, it's going to be GG. It wasn't Panama. Wow, it looked much more South Asian to me. Okay, I kind of sold on that, you're not gonna lie. Also, I had a pretty sweaty opponent, and I lost. Let's also try a game of Battle Our Countries by trying to guess the correct country and see how that helps us. Look, with GeoGuessr, there's a ton of tips that you kind of need to know because a lot of the tips only come in some countries. We'll give them a little wave. I mean, why is it not working? Why can't I give them a wave? Anyway, there's tons of the world covered on Google Street View, so you'll need to know a ton of tips. Oh god, this is hard. Well, this is, I think, Southeast Asia, maybe? Oh, wait, you can move. Oh, no, it's South America, because I think I saw De La, which looks more South American. Okay, so Bienvenidos. So it's not Brazil, because Brazil would be Portuguese, and, I mean, you can just kind of tell that's not Portuguese. I used to be really bad at the difference, though. Honestly, in my opinion, it could be in lots of places. There's some nice big blue building over there. You can see already made guesses which were wrong. So I can see Colombia, I think that is, which has already been guessed. Ecuador over here, and Mexico has been guessed. So where could it be? Like Peru? No, wrong. Maybe Bolivia. Yeah. No. Take the 50-50. Guatemala. That's so hard. Oh my god. Very, very dark red soil. That instantly makes me think it could be Brazil. Or it could be Central Africa, like Rwanda or something, but I'm not really feeling it. I'll see. I'm not that good a player yet, so I'll just spam, but I'm actually not sure at all where it could be. So that person guessed Uganda. Should I guess Brazil? Because people instantly got it, so I feel like it might be an easy one. Okay, good, it was just Brazil. Yeah, in the south, that's not surprising because I think there's lots of deforestation there, and that's why there wasn't much rainforest. Yeah, someone guessed Rwanda, you see. This person with a name I won't say, but yeah. Actually, all the countries should be guessed are in Africa, which were wrong. So a lot of people were thinking it's in like Africa, which is it's reasonable. Some of them which they guessed were normal, like Rwanda, but they guessed Eswatini and Lesotho, which Lesotho's completely in the mountains. Okay, Europe. We know that at least. Very bad quality roads is one thing to note. Well, I feel like it's like St. Petersburg or I don't know. If someone guessed Estonia, I was thinking Estonia. I think it's not Scandinavia. These do not look. That's EU blue on number plates. Okay. This is a hard one actually. I think it could be like Slovakia or Hungary or something like that. It's definitely Eastern Europe and it's in the EU, so there's a ton of Eastern Europe countries though which are in the EU. Ooh, that house. That kind of looks Polish, honestly. What's that? Very unusual landscape. I was thinking Ukraine because of the bad quality road, but it wouldn't have EU blue number plates, and that's like a tourist. Okay, we're just gonna have to take a gamble then. Why are they in Norway? I guess the vibe. Latvia, I mean, it just kind of looks Baltic, like that area. It's just in the middle of nowhere though, which is kind of annoying. Now check the hemisphere, so where's the sun? It's kind of in the middle, isn't it? So the sun won't be very helpful here. Because the panning of the camera can sometimes be wrong, so the sun's not the most reliable tip. Yeah, I'll drop a question mark in the chat too. Not at all sure where this could be actually. It's an incredibly hard one. Someone guessed Turkey, which I guess isn't the worst guess. I was about to say, no, that's such a stupid guess, but actually, if you think about it, it's not. I never managed to guess Turkey unless it's like urban. I'm really bad at guessing rural Turkey. I don't think I've ever guessed rural Turkey, even though it comes up quite often. Yeah, I guess it. Oh, there's some houses here. Nah, this is European, I think. Do they look like Spanish houses? What, Italian or what? Italy, Spain. It was Brazil. Yeah, it was a really hard round. It doesn't look like Brazil typically, actually, so it's quite a rare one. I mean, yeah, we did quite well in that game. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you want to help us pass +1,000 subscribers. See you later, and bye! More possibilities, cause it's an LJ.